By request of two of my students, Ebony and Sierra, I'm making a autoplay slideshow. I'm also going to make it so that if you wanted to convert it into a button slideshow, you know, next and previous, you could. But I'm not going to really show you how to do that. Ha ha ha. So one of my students wants to run the slideshow in the background with content over the top. The other one just wants to run one during her page when it's loaded. So here's how I did it. I first set up my stage. I made my stage fit my pictures, which are 720 by about 460. I did change the default color from white to black. It just made nicer transitions for me. I imported 3 photos. Notice their name, photo_1, photo_2, photo_3. You can put as many photos you want in, but they all have to be written this way, exactly the same way. Photo_1, photo_2, photo_3, photo_4, etc. .jpeg. I'm using JPEGs. You can use PNGs, GIF. That part doesn't matter. And I dragged photo 1 right here, my dragon, onto the stage, and it was put in the elements. So I have photo 1, and I am going to click it, and I'm going to change this from photo 1 to main photo. Notice the camel casing. Might as well learn it while I'm doing it. Small second word starts with a capital letter. Now I'm going to change this div to an image. Now the reason I'm changing it to an image is I want it to be an HTML tag image, which would be angle bracket image, and then you'd have an src and you'd have a width and a height. But I just need that right now because we're going to use that factor to help us out. The other thing I did was I went over here to the scripts and I pressed the plus sign, and I added the jQuery CDN, and you can find that at jQuery.com, place for all your jQuery needs. Alright, press the download button and you would copy it from code, the word code, right to the JS. You can just copy that. Close that up, and then when you come over here and you press the plus sign, the dialog pops up and you just paste it in after the http // Okay, so I've added the script. We're ready to roll. So we basically, everything else from this point on is code. And I know you're sitting there going, yay, code. So I'll open the code window. There we go. Move this up a little bit. And across the stage, I'll click on the plus sign, and I'm going to do creation complete. That was easy, right? Okay, so I need to set a couple variables up that'll help us do this. My first variable, and I set a variable by typing var space. My first variable is going to be the image count. I need to know how many images there are. Right now there's 1, so I'm just going to put 1. We know there's not 0. So that's a first variable. And I'm going to set up a second variable, var, and I'm going to do the num of images. I tend to keep things as close as I can to the same, similar enough names so I know what I'm talking about. And I have a total of how many pictures? 1, 2, 3. It could really be anything, so I'm going to put 3 semicolon. If you had 5, you would put 5, 6, whatever. So now I need to set up a function that's going to run on the stage so I can call it. So sym dot show photos. And maybe I should call that images. I think I will. I'll change that to show images. How's that? Equals. And I need to create a function. And I create a function by first typing the word function. Then I'm going to open a parentheses. Now, like I said, I'm going to set this up so later when I do my other tutorial on this, we can change this to buttons. So I'll have it all like ready to go. So our function's going to be image, direction. Note I used the camel casing again. It makes it easier for me to see it later. Close the parentheses, open curly braces, hit return. Now, when I hit return like that, it opened, since I opened a curly brace, it closed a curly brace. That is an awesome thing. You may not realize it, but it is, because when you open something, you have to close it, and this does it for you automatically. Makes me happy. So what do we need to do? Well, first we need to count the pictures. So we're going to put image, whoops, that's not image, that's image, count, camel case, it's got to match the variable. See, image count. You could copy and paste if you want, but you know, I don't do that. Equals, well, I don't do it sometimes. Image count, right? And plus our image direction. Okay. Seems right, right? Semicolon. Return. Now, the thing is, like I said, I am setting this up for future as well as right now. And what I want to do is set it up so that if we get more than the total number of images up here, the counter will go back to 1. Or if I have less than 1, it'll go back to the total number of images right up here. Okay, so this is pretty easy. It's an if statement. If, open parentheses, close parentheses, open curly brace, return, and let's just throw a little semicolon right there. There we go. All right, so what do we need to do? We need to say that if the image count is greater than the number of images, if it's greater than that, what are we going to do? Well, seems to me the answer would be the image count would then equal 1. Semicolon. There you go. First part of the if statement. Now, like I said, the second one we aren't going to really call, only when we add the buttons later, but I want to do it now. So if the image count is less than 1, what do we want to do? Now, I already have a closed, oops, I didn't even do a curly brace. What do I want to do? Well, I want the image count in that case to equal the number of images, right? Whoops, spelled that wrong. See the capital M? Can't do that. Got to be exactly the same. And then I want a semicolon. And after this curly brace, I want a semicolon. So all that's do is helping us count. We haven't even done the pictures yet, okay? So hang in there. So we're going to talk to Edge, and I'm going to copy this stuff a bunch. $, open parentheses, open double quotes, close double quotes, close parentheses, dot. Now, the thing I've got to ask myself, what am I trying to affect here? Well, I'm trying to affect this thing called the main photo. So I need to type main photo. Whoops. Photo. Yay. Got it right. I'm also going to copy this for future. Now, what do I want to do? Well, the first thing I want to do is the photo that's there to fade out. Fade out. Camel casing again. Open parentheses. Open double quotes. Close double quotes. Now, what do I want to do? Right here goes the speed. So I can say actually fast or slow, or I can put a number in. Remember that 1,000 milliseconds equals a second. I'm just going to type in slow. After that, a comma. Notice it's after the double quotes, a comma. Function. Yeah, there's constant functions going on here. So function. Open parentheses, close parentheses, open curly brace, return. And what do I want to do? So first thing I'm going to do is I know I got to do something to the main function again. Right? Yes. Well, what do I want to do? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. See, remember when we changed this over here to image and I said that was like the HTML tag? Well, the HTML tag has attributes, and we're going to talk to those. So the way you signal attributes is ATTR, attributes, right? We're going to change some of them. So we're going to open parentheses, and we're going to open some double quotes. And in between those double quotes, what do we want to change? We want to change which photo we're calling. So in the HTML tag, you would have image, img, and then you would have src equals. Well, we want to change that source, src. Then we're going to put a comma after the quote. We want to change the path it takes, or the source is, so we're going to open some double quotes. And we're going to look at, so where are those pictures? Well, they're over here in a folder named images, so we'll type images. And it's a folder, but inside the folder we have something called photo underscore. Remember, we named them all photo underscore and a number, right? Smart chick. Close quotes. Now, we're not going to add a number because we want that to happen dynamically. So the number we want is the image count, which we counted up here. So the way we're going to add a variable is we go plus sign, image count, because it's a variable, plus sign. Then we have to add the end of the picture. So it's not just photo, it's photo.jpg. So we open some double quotes, type dot .jpg, close the double quotes, close the parentheses, semicolon. Okay, we're getting there. Next thing we need to do, next line. That's what we have to do, the next line. So we're going to once again talk to the main photo. And in the main photo, we're now going to load a function, a new function. So we're going to open some parentheses, type the word function, open parentheses, close parentheses, curly brace, return. Oops, I got double dots there. That won't work. People get pissy when you don't do it right. And we need to add something. What are we going to load? Well, we're going to load a new action for that main photo. We're going to go dot fade in. And we can do it fast or slow. I'm going to do slow. I'm going to match things. Slow. Close parentheses, semicolon. Now, we're not closed off. We have not closed things off yet because you can see there's some problems here. So we need to make sure that we've got everything closed. And there's a couple parentheses open, so we'll close those. So parentheses are closed. And I spelled function wrong over here. There we go, function. So now everything's closed up for every parenthesis we opened, we closed. That's really important. Here's a parenthesis. Got to make sure those get closed. If these aren't closed, it won't work. So far, what would happen? Absolutely nothing, because we haven't set up any timing intervals. I mean, nothing's going to happen. The thing isn't going to run yet. So we're going to do something called set interval, 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 open parentheses, function, because we're passing a little function, open parentheses, close parentheses, open curly brace, hit a return. And so what do we want to do? Well, we want to call this function right up here that we created, show images. So show images, right? Make sure they're the same. Oh, see, I typed that capital M again. I don't mean that. I really don't. Small m, images. And we're going to open parentheses, and we're going to add 1 because this represents the image direction. And because we're auto, we just want to keep going forward. So A1, semicolon. Now we already finished this and we want it to go over a certain amount of time. So let's put a comma and let's say 5 seconds, 5,000, it's 5 seconds. Some of that time is going to be used for the transition. Close the parentheses, semicolon. Now when I tested it should work. While I'm looking down here, I realized I didn't write, this is the function, this is not. So we need to add an SYM dot in front of it. Hey, it's troubleshooting. You'll learn something. Let's try again. Command return. And there it goes. I was getting nervous there, did you notice? And it'll go back to 1. There you go. Perfect. An auto running slideshow. I'm done. Had fun. Bye-bye.